Everybody, welcome to Monday Night Logan Lives. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. When you come on, just say a name and where you're from. Tonight's going to be fairly quick, but it'll be on point given we're about to start a new decade. For those of you watching this on replay, most people watch this on replay. Thank you for that. And thanks for everybody that shares it and all that type of stuff. That's really cool. It means a lot. And I'm gonna have an action item for you here when we get done with this. So, hey Angie, good to see you. Terry, good to see you. So there's one thing that you control actually that will absolutely determine your long-term success or your pretty much immediate failure. And we're going to talk about this because we're heading into a new decade. 2020 is around the corner. The next Logan Live we do will be in 2020. And it's kind of crazy. It's crazy to think about the fact that we're almost in 2020. I mean, yesterday I remember storing up bottled waters for Y2K. How many remember that? Non-perishable items, everything's going to collapse. Remember that? So it's pretty funny. But hey, good to see you, Cindy from Pennsylvania. Judy, good to see you from California. Good to see you. Somebody from New York. I scanned up before I could get to it. Hey, Brenda. But we're going to get to this. Grab pen and paper really quick. And I'm going to have you do a little, if you have the courage to do it. Some people don't feel comfortable, and that's okay. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, Logan Lives are for everybody. They're open to the public. They're about a 15-minute little leadership success training we do every Monday night on my public figure Facebook page at Logan R. Stout. And so that means a lot that you all tune in. And I just landed. I just got back in town, showered really quick. So thanks, for not judging the casualness here. But I just showered and it felt great. I was on a site inspection for an ID Life event that we're going to do in 2020, and I was checking it out to see if we thought it would be good and all that type of stuff. So, and I think it's going to be awesome. So, more to be revealed on that for you, those of you a part of that. But these are open to everybody. So we have folks that watch these from all different companies, from all different things, from all different genres, from you name it. It means a lot that you're on here so we can grow together, right? I mean, none of us have the world figured out, right? We're all doing this thing called life together. But we can certainly learn and get insight from different things, right? And so we're going to talk about this tonight. So, and I'm going to have you do an action item at the end of it, okay? So grab pen and paper really quick. And we're going to talk about two different types of discipline. One is discipline that is basically that holds you accountable. And one is self-discipline where you hold yourself accountable. And I'm going to tell you right now that the latter is in fact the one that is going to enable you to have the best year of your life in 2020. It's going to enable you to accomplish your goals and dreams in life. And without it, you won't. You just simply won't. So let's talk about the difference really quick. Discipline. You can think of an athlete, like a professional athlete. Man, they're so disciplined, right? You can look at somebody in the armed forces. And by the way, thank you for everybody who serves our country and those of you that are related to somebody who serves our country and those that have sacrificed for our country. We wouldn't be on here tonight if not for you, probably. And so don't take this the wrong way. What I'm trying to say is people would look at how disciplined they are, right? You look at these folks. You see them on movies and videos, and you see their training regimen and all this type of stuff, and their barracks and all. I mean, they're all disciplined. They dress the right way. They yes sir, no sir. They're disciplined, right? So you see that. You see high school and college guys and girls when they're playing sports in high school and college, how disciplined they are, right? And then what's interesting is very few when their careers are done, say professional athletes, even military, you name it, when their careers are over in that instance and they're moving on to the next phase of life, it's not the same. It seems like something's different, right? For not everybody, just for some. And you see athletes that you once admired, that had perfect physical specimens, and you see them and you go, that was a professional athlete, the one with the big gut. That was a professional athlete, right? Or you know what I mean? You see these people and you're going, this doesn't look like the same person. In fact, I don't know the exact latest stat, but over 90-something% of all professional athletes after 10 years after their careers end, they file for bankruptcy. It's interesting. So let's talk about this. Discipline, you would say anybody in the military, a professional athlete, a college, high school, they have discipline because they're forced to, right? You look at an individual working a 9 to 5, right? They have a job. Yeah, they're disciplined. They're going to show up every Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. If not, they lose their job, right? There's a built-in accountability measurement in discipline. And this is big. I want you to hear me on this. Hear my heart on this. Because we all need to hear this. I need to hear this. So there's a built-in accountability measure, right? So it could be the sergeant in the military. It could be your coach if you're an athlete. It could be the owner of the team if you're a professional athlete, right? You have a contract year coming up. If you're an employee, it's your boss, right? There's this discipline that is there that if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you lose your job, right? If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you get fired. If you don't do what you're forced to do something, right? Discipline is forced upon you. In fact, it's interesting. I did some research on this. My new book that's coming out finally here called Grit Factor. We actually talk about where the word discipline comes from. And the word discipline originated from the Latin word for pupil, okay? And by the way, some of you, we have different religious beliefs, which is cool. Like, I love you. I hope you love me, whatever. Like, I'm just giving you the facts behind the word discipline. Here it is. The word discipline originated from the Latin word for pupil. That's why Jesus' students in the Bible referred to as disciples, okay? Then in the 1300s, the word became connected with the military, which is why by the early 1500s, discipline came to mean orderly conduct as a result of training. So today when we see a well-trained soldier, star athlete, or even an obedient child, we say that person sure is disciplined. So that's the root of the word discipline. All right, now, so that makes sense. I think we all get that. So let's talk about the different type of discipline, that is self-discipline. You see, self-discipline is when it's you alone. No one's forcing it upon you, right? You don't have a boss, a coach, a drill sergeant forcing you to be disciplined. You have to have self-discipline, right? And this is the reason why many entrepreneurs, solopreneurs make it or don't make it. They have a lack of self-discipline. This is why people have New Year's resolutions and they either conquer and crush those New Year's resolutions, or the next year rolls around and they have the same New Year's resolutions they had the previous year. And the same New Year's resolution they had the previous year before that. They have a lack of self-discipline. Okay? And this is it. The question I posted in the deal, I said, do you have it? The question I have for you is, do you have self-discipline? Right? We look at the 6 areas of life, six aspects: mental, spiritual, physical, financial, emotional, and relational. All right, let's talk financial. Do you have self-discipline in your finances? Right? There's a built-in mechanism for discipline in your finances because you got to pay your bills, right? Most people have a mortgage, and so if you don't pay your mortgage, you can get evicted from your home or your apartment. So there's this extrinsic factor affecting your discipline, right? There's like built-in accountability. If I don't pay my bills, my cell phone's not going to work. If I don't pay for gas, I won't be able to drive my car, right? I get that. What I'm talking about is self-discipline in your finances. You want to build a real retirement. You want to get out of debt. You want to create financial freedom. You want to be able to provide for those that are less fortunate. That's going to require self-discipline. That's going to, listen, this is big. That's going to require you to give up immediate gratification for long-term satisfaction. Right? The problem we have is people want instant gratification. We live in a microwave world, a Google world. They want instant gratification, right? The problem is nothing that's worth it happens instantly. It takes time, and it takes dealing with the mundane, just laborious aspects of life. Put another way, you have to be self-disciplined, right? So you can have some long-term satisfaction. So the question I have for you, and this is, I want you can post this. It'd be really cool if you did, because I guarantee you, if you'll be authentic and vulnerable, I guarantee you that other people will be inspired by that because they're thinking the same thing. Or maybe subconsciously they're thinking the same thing, but they won't post it. So I hope at some point in time you'll post on here something in 2020 you're going to be more self-disciplined about. So we're talking finances, right? So maybe you say, hey, look, my goal is to get out of debt. My goal is to in 2020 is to save $10,000 for retirement. What is your self-discipline there? Okay, maybe it's physical. Maybe physical is where you really want to grow in your self-discipline. You have 10 pesky pounds you just cannot seem to lose, right? Or maybe you have a bad habit. Right? Maybe it's alcohol or maybe whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not judging you. I'm just throwing out ideas, right? Tobacco, smoking. I don't know. Not getting good enough sleep at night. Maybe you don't go to bed at a good hour, right? You're not getting good sleep. Whatever, right? So physically, what is something in 2020 that you're going to be, okay, I'm going to be self-disciplined. This is the year that I'm going to conquer this issue physically in my life, right? All right. Maybe it's emotionally. Your EQ, your emotional intelligence, which is attributed to 90% of your success or failure in life with people. Maybe your issue is you allow your temper to get the better of you. I know I'm guilty of that. Maybe you're very impatient. Ding, ding, ding. That's me. All right. So maybe self-discipline in 2020 is you're going to learn to take a deep breath, relax, step back, assess the situation, and then step forward, right? Versus just boom, lashing out on whatever you're thinking, right? I don't know. Emotionally, maybe you're going to show more grace, compassion, love, and peace, and you're willing to give up being right for doing what's right, and that's love wins. Love always wins, right? I don't know. There's an example. Mentally, maybe self-discipline instead of watching mindless TV. Nothing wrong with watching some TV. Listen, for me, TV gets what's left of me, not the best of me. And I hope you'll apply that to your life, right? So mentally, maybe it's, hey, instead of listening to pointless radio or whatever, you're going to listen to a good podcast. You're going to have your Rolling University on, brain food, right? Maybe that's it mentally, right? Spiritually, it's so funny. People, it's not funny. I don't mean that to be insensitive. I think there's a lot of people struggling with God or struggling with this concept of, and my question is, well, how much work do you put into it? Right? If you're not putting any work into your spiritual life, what makes you think your spiritual life is going to grow? It's like anything in life. You got to water it, right? If you want something to grow, you got to tend to it. And so maybe you need some self-discipline in your spiritual life, right? I don't know, just an example. And then relationally, maybe you need self-discipline in the relational aspect of life with your spouse, your kids. Maybe you haven't made time for your best friends, and you're really struggling relationally. It feels like the only people you do life with are the people that are convenience, meaning that you're forced to do life with them because of your life circumstance, work, relationship, maybe, or your kids' games. So those are the only people you're hanging out with. You're not doing anything intentionally to have good quality relationships outside of the workplace or maybe outside of your kids, right? So maybe self-discipline in your relational areas of life, right? Maybe it's date night with your spouse, right? Like if you're married, are you still treating them and courting them like you did when you were trying to get them to marry you? Are you treating them in the same way? Maybe you're lacking self-discipline there. Maybe, listen, I'm going to tell you, where selfishness resides, the marriage dies. Oh, I'm going to tell you that right now. If you're married, marriage is tough, period. You have two imperfect, selfish people. What could possibly go wrong, right? Where selfishness abides, I'm just telling you, the marriage will die. I mean, you cannot be selfish and be married to somebody. You got to be all in for them, they all in for you, and just watch how you get more than you ever expected. And I'm speaking with you, not at you. What I'm saying is listen, maybe that's an area of self-discipline that you need. Maybe you're stuck in the rut of trying to be right all the time in the relationships versus just doing right. Right? Which is grace, compassion, mercy, finding the good in the situation versus always pointing out the bad, right? And I'm giving you just examples, right? Some of you are athletes. Maybe it's your coach that's driving you nuts. Well, maybe you're driving your coach nuts, right? Maybe your coach is like, why won't they get it? You're capable of being such a much better player than this, but you won't listen, right? And you're over there going, well, my coach is just riding me too hard. My coach is beating me down, right? You see what I'm saying? Like again, I'm just scattershooting ideas here. But the point I'm trying to make is you have the mental, spiritual, physical, financial, emotional, and relational areas of life. And for them to be what you want them to be, for them to be fulfilling and peaceful and happy, a happy quotient in your life versus anxiety, worrisome, and stressful, it's going to require intentionality, which is fueled by self-discipline. You're going to have self-discipline in those areas of your life. This is so important. Discipline comes from external factors. Self-discipline comes from within. It's you making the choice that I'm going to forego instant gratification, the good for the great long term. I'm willing to sacrifice now to reap the benefits later. Either way, there's going to be sacrifice. Either sacrifice now or sacrifice later. There's always going to be sacrifice. There's always a price to pay. Always. And I'm telling you right now, self-discipline is one of the number one most underrated components to success, to peace, to joy, to happiness, is the ability to look at the 6 areas of life: mental, spiritual, physical, financial, emotional, and relational, and to have the self-discipline to sow seeds into those 6 areas of your life that reap an incredible reward. You have to hear me on this, right? You reap what you sow. And so I think it's important that we all just take ownership and go, listen, in 2020, it's like, if it's meant to be, it's up to me, right? If it's meant to be, then I'm going to have self-discipline in my life. And if you guys have the boldness and the courage, because we're those of you new to Logan Lives, we're just family here, man. Like listen, we're all doing this thing called life together. And if you have the courage and the boldness to be able to put like, hey, this is just, maybe it's just the area, one of the 6 areas. You're like, hey, this is the area where I'm going to have more self-discipline in 2020. I want you to throw it out into the world, because when you throw it out into the world, man, you're proclaiming it. You're saying, okay, here it is. I mean, I'm going to be more self-disciplined in this area of my life, period. And then when you throw it out in the world, what you're doing is you're giving people that care about you permission to say, okay, yeah, this is what you said, but this isn't what I'm seeing. Remember, a friend tells you what you need to hear. A fan tells you what you want to hear. You're never going to grow with a bunch of fans around you, right? You don't need that, right? You need friends that'll be true. Like my wife, she's my best friend in the world, and I said, honey, man, I wrote something, and I said, does this come across arrogant? I know one of my weaknesses is I can come across arrogant, and that is not my heart. That is not who I am at all. But sometimes my confidence can be misunderstood as arrogance or cocky. And I said, will you read this for me, please, and tell me, does this come across right? And the cool thing, she looked at me, she goes, honey, the great thing is we're best friends. I'm always going to tell you the truth. I said, exactly. That's why I'm asking you. Just tell me, And she actually said, she goes, you know what? Yeah, you need to reword that. Yeah, that I know your heart, honey, but people that don't know you and they just read that, it may not come across right, And I said, okay, awesome. Thanks, babe. And so what I'm saying to you all is this. Don't say you want to be better. Don't say you want 2020 to be your year and then not willing to be receiving constructive feedback from people that care about you. You need truth tellers in your life. We all need truth tellers in our lives. I've got truth tellers in my lives, man. They just shoot me straight. When I'm off track, they tell me, right? And I'm telling you, family, we all need that. The problem is most people are too insecure and they get their feelings hurt and they're offended all the time. Listen, you got to learn to be unoffendable if you want to be great. You can be average and never get your feelings hurt. But if you want to be great, you're going to have to allow people to speak into you. It's that simple. You're going to have that. I mean, I look at the people in my life who speak into me when I'm off track, man. And listen, I got a long way to go, in my growth journey, a long way to go. But I can't imagine where I'd be today if not for those people. Those folks are the reason I am where I am today, right? And I want to encourage you with that because, nobody expects you to be perfect, but they do expect you to be authentic. They do expect you to be real, and I just want to encourage you, man, be authentic, be real. You all watching this, 2020 is going to be an amazing year. New decade, clean slate. We're going to crush it together, and we're going to absolutely crush it together. And for that to happen, listen, man, you got to lock in on those 6 areas: mental, spiritual, physical, financial, emotional, relational. You've got to lock into those areas. You have to be honest, get truth tellers in your life. You have to be honest about where you lack in self-discipline. Where you lack in self-discipline. What accountability measures do you have in place to keep you on point? To be on point so you can level up. You got to ask yourself that question. You want to crush 2020? It will require self-discipline. Period. End of story. Period, exclamation point. You have to have self-discipline because no one is going to do it for you. No one. They got their own worries. They have their own struggles. They got their own things going on, right? You got to do it for you and for those counting on you. And that's going to require self-discipline. It's that simple. So listen, it means the world to me that you all tune in here. I know people need to hear this, and I don't say that to say, hey, look at me. I say that to say, look at you. And be bold and be courageous. And I want you to share this with folks and say, hey, listen, 2020, here's where I'm going to level up. Here's where I'm going to level up in self-discipline, and then tag some folks and say, hey, check this out. It spoke to me. I love you. Let's go crush 2020 together. Like, just send that out, something like that. Because if not, here's what's going to happen. Listen, here's what's going to happen. People are going to drift right into 2020. They're going to wake up and it's going to be 2021. And then it's going to be 2022, and it's going to be 2023. And then what's going to happen is nothing's going to change. Most people are existing through life. They're in survival mode. The purpose of these Logan Lives, man, is I know you're great. I know you're put on this earth for greatness. I believe we all are. But sometimes we need to be reminded of it. We need to be told how we can manifest that greatness, right? And then number 3, we need truth tellers. We need to be held accountable when we're off track. And so, listen, I'm grateful for all of you. I pray you guys have an amazing New Year's, a safe New Year's. I truly believe that if it's meant to be, it will be, if you're willing to have the self-discipline to make it happen. 2020 is going to be epic if you want it to be. If you want, nobody can do it for you. But if you want it to be epic, it will be epic. But it's going to take work. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take intentionality. It's going to take, put another way, self-discipline. And I promise you this, anything that's worth it is going to take more, cost more, and quite frankly, be more stressful than you ever imagined. And that's how you know it's worth it. So I really want to make sure you understand that. Listen, I'm for you. I know you have people in your life that are for you. And as we head to this new year, listen, you may be rolling into this thing. You may be walking this thing. You may be sprinting to this thing. Whatever you're doing, it's coming. 2020 is coming, and it's your year to crush it. It's your year to conquer. It's your year to level up. And I can't wait to see you do it, okay? I love you. You guys have a great night. God bless, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.